Stewie, Bob Willis Trophy starts on Saturday, but one-off excitement. But tell me about how excited are you about being back in front of the fans at the key arrival?
No, listen, it's really very, very important, effectively. We've waited a long time. A lot of people have put a lot of hard work in behind the scenes, one, to get cricket back on, but also, even more importantly, to get the gates open so members, supporters, fans of the game can come and watch. So real credit to them. And now as players, we've been back training for a month or so. Training's fine, but it's all about playing and playing for real, which will happen on Saturday.
Obviously, as a player, you never played under lockdown conditions yourself. You didn't play in front of completely empty stadiums. But what do you think it means to the players to be able to have fans back on Saturday and not be playing in a lockdown condition?
Massive. We've seen it in the warm-up game. You have warm-up games end of March, early April. Yes, the weather's not great. You might get 50 people in if you're lucky. First day of our warm-up game against Middlesex, 1,000 people in. It created, one, an atmosphere, but also it increased the intensity of a warm-up game. At times they can drift, but when there are people watching, there's more meaning to it. I thought both sets of players, Middlesex and Surrey, were a real credit in how they carried on, but most importantly, a real credit that people turned up to watch.
Prior to the pre-season friendly yesterday, obviously there's a lot of work going on both during the lockdown period and as restrictions were starting to lift, with the coaches working with the players. Just take us through about some of the techniques that the coaches were using to work with the players, keep them engaged whilst they sort of had access to them being limited.
Yeah, so in lockdown it was purely via Zoom and phone. And the strength conditioning coach Darren Vaness and Archie Ogden, they were in constant contact with the players, ensuring that the players were adhering to the training programs put in place, which again we shipped out a load of gym gear to them so that they could do as much as they could. And there's a lot of independent thinking, because when you're on your own you've got to do it yourself. So again, a real credit for the players, and also a big plus and a big positive moving forward. And then once we were back, again, protocols we have to adhere to, one-on-one coaching. The player has to knock the ball back along the floor. He can't pick it up and throw it back to the coach or the person bowling, which again both have to get used to. But it enabled a lot of one-on-one technical work. With Vikram coming in as head coach, Richard Johnson bowling coach, Jeff Arnold here, it created not just one-on-one coaching, but increasing that contact time and relationships with the players, which is important. It's always growing.
Talked about independent thinking lockdown. Give us a couple of examples of some of your favourite things about some of the independent thinking that was going on with some of the players and the coaches.
It was really, I say, just seeing, they've got, say, a couple of dumbbells each, seeing what they could do there, and then seeing them when they come back, how they'd work out where they could bowl. Some are bowling down the middle of their street, making sure there are no cars about. Some are bowling against a garage door. The same batting. You see a lot of the kids might drop the ball from their shoulder and then play a shot, or throw it against a wall and then hit it back. Our players were doing that. So if it's good enough for the youngsters, it was good enough for the pros as well.
So you're saying the players were watching Mark Church on Twitter and he was influencing the Surrey coaching strategies over lockdown?
Yeah, I wasn't saying that, but I'm in negotiations now with his garden bench as to whether he is available for the rest of the season, because he looks a prolific run scorer.
Any exclusive there?
Yes, you can release that. I'll give you permission.
Right. Okay. So what, garden bench is arriving maybe in time for the second game, or
if we can agree terms.
Okay, great. Well, we'll be doorstepping you on that one until we get the final news. Let's talk about 7 of the players that aren't going to be involved on Saturday. They're obviously they're all involved in different England bubbles, one in Southampton and one in Manchester. Some of them have done really well already, and some of them obviously hoping to make an impression in that white ball series. But what's your take on how they've been going in the last few weeks, and what a big opportunity that is for them to spend that really consistent amount of time in the England environment?
I mean, your questions in a way answered everything. They've been very, very good. We've kept in constant contact in lockdown, and it's proper lockdown. At times isn't easy. You've heard Nolly Pope or Sam Curran, Rory Burns speak on TV about when they go back after a day's play, they just go back to their room. If they had a tough day, they can't share too many of their thoughts with families or relations, whatever it may be. But it's excellent. It's brilliant what the ECB have done to get international cricket on, both from a watching point of view, a playing point of view, and a financial point of view. But our lads are enjoying it. We're cricketers, and we're about playing. We're not just about training or being in lockdown. So, well done to everyone. It's brilliant that we've got 4 in the Test match bubble and 3 in the white ball bubble, because we've always said we want players from Surrey to play for England.
And more from the perspective of Saturday's game, just talk about the opportunity that's given to some of the other members of the squad. We've obviously seen in the pre-season friendly, we've seen a few first performances, not debuts because they're not a first-class game, but guys like James Taylor, Dan Moriarty making their first appearance in Surrey colours. But that availability of players for England has created opportunity.
That's the thing, it is an opportunity. With the England players there, with certain players not getting an opportunity, possibly not. But now it's down to them to grab that opportunity, to show themselves, their teammates and their management staff what they can do. And that's the exciting bit about it. Yes, we've got a lot of England players here. People look from the outside in and say that's a big staff, a strong staff. Knock out your 7 England players, and then you go, right, well, I'm a youngster at 19, 20. I actually do get opportunities when I come to Surrey, or if I come through the ranks of Surrey. So we're looking forward to it. We've got to make sure we have enough to pick from. We've got to be very wary of the bowling loads placed on younger bowlers. We've already got injuries which we have to cater for. So the numbers are small at the moment, and then we'll see. Hopefully some will come back from injury and are able to play. And if we have to look outside and get loan players, then we will do. But first and foremost, we want to give ours a real good chance and a real good go.
You talked about coming back from injury as well. Are we expecting to see any of those players once the Test series is finished and some of those England bubbles are finished? Are we hoping to see some of those back in Surrey colours before the end of this season?
Yeah, again, we'll be guided by England. But hopefully, yes. Potential, I believe, of the players who are playing against Ireland in those 3 one-dayers to potentially be available for 2 of the Bob Willis games, rounds 2 and 3, possibly. Again, we've got to get clearance for that. Then once your Test series is over, and we're more into 2020, but there'd still be 1 4-day game starting on the 6th of September. You'd hope that the majority of the Red Ball boys will be available too. So there's a lot of flexibility. A lot of things have still to be confirmed because of the protocols and the strict protocols which are rightly in place. But now if they're available, we'll welcome them back.
And final question, just on availability, obviously Hashim Amla and Morne Morkel, 2 players we were hoping would have been in Surrey colours this season, certainly would have been had the season started under, had it been normal conditions. Can you give us an update on what we're looking at for both of those guys at the moment?
Yeah, we're still trying to get one of the visas cleared. We've used my local MP who's been very helpful, and he's been in contact with the Immigration Minister. So we're waiting for those to be issued. And then the next problem will be getting flights. We're reasonably confident of getting Morne Morkel across here. Won't be for game 1, and then when's he going to be match ready? But that's coming from Australia is a lot easier than trying to get flights out of South Africa for Hash. Is at the moment proving a real challenge. So ideally we have them both, but again, strange times. We'll have to go with what the government are doing. But also what actually is available. Can we get the visas, which I've been given a thumbs up, they're coming through, and then most importantly get them on flights to come here.
So you're hopeful, but watch this space.
Correct.
Thanks very much, Stu.
Cheers, thank you.